What damn, Logic's back with another one. Today, we're going to talk about how Mark Zuckerberg is a big...
You know what I'm saying? Drop a like, leave a comment, let me know you're in here. We finna have fun tonight.
For those that don't know, Mark Zuckerberg has recently come out and made a statement how he is going to bend both knees and kiss the Cheeto pinky ring and then suck the Cheeto pinky. Let's hear this shell of a man plead his case to why Facebook is no longer going to use fact checkers but community notes like X, and how this is all motivated by money, even though he can't say that out loud. But before we do all that, make sure to leave a like, comment, sub, if not one, then all three. Now, let's get to the video.
Hey everyone, I want to talk about something important today because it's time to get back to our roots around free expression on Facebook and Instagram. I started building social media to give people a voice. I gave a speech at Georgetown 5 years ago about the importance of protecting free expression, and I still believe this today. But a lot has happened over the last several years. There's been widespread debate about potential harms from online content. Governments and legacy media have pushed to censor more and more. A lot of this is clearly political.
No, they haven't. The government isn't censoring anybody, and I just really hate this conflation of words and terms in their meetings. Nobody's being censored because private platforms decide what they want and don't want on it.
But there's also a lot of legitimately bad stuff out there. Drugs, terrorism, child exploitation. These are things that we take very seriously, and I want to make sure that we handle responsibly. So we built a lot of complex systems to moderate content. But the problem with complex systems is they make mistakes. Even if they accidentally censor just 1% of posts, that's millions of people. And we've reached...
I just don't like how these people are acting like because they do or don't want certain content on their platforms, they're censoring people. And I don't even think it's always political. It's like, if you don't want certain shit on your platform, you don't want certain shit on your platform. Like, I don't know. And then on top of that, what I think there's a bigger issue with people politicizing everything versus things being politically motivated. Like, some things shouldn't be political. Climate change should not be a political talking point. It should be a real world issue that we're all trying to figure out in real time. But for some reason, it's getting politicized. Now it's the Democrats' fault just 100% that fires in California are spreading, even though fires have been spreading in California since California.
Reached a point where it's just too many mistakes and too much censorship. The recent elections also feel like a cultural tipping point towards once again prioritizing speech.
And I just find this so funny. This is the same person that kicked Trump off his platform, and now he's sucking his dick because Trump has out and openly said that he thinks that Mark Zuckerberg is making this pivot on his platform because of his threats to him.
Say it.
Do you think he's directly responding to the threats that you have made to him in the past?
Probably. Yeah, probably.
I find it really strange that everybody on the right hates censorship, free speech. Everything is left-leaning. You guys hate the right. There's no balance, blah, blah, blah. And everything is done because of Joe Biden and the Democrats and the deep state. But yet, this oligarchy is forming right in front of their faces. The richest people in the world are supporting Trump financially, and they're changing things to favor a man. Not a system, not a policy, but a singular man, because he has openly threatened media companies, people's careers, people's families, because they say things he does not like. Nobody on the left has sued a news company because they said things they didn't like about him. No one on the left has came to Twitter and said, hey, pull down this tweet because this person called me a pussy ass bitch. Like, this is all Trump, but yet the right is like, the left is just getting a taste of their own medicine. The left has never done anything like this.
So we're going to get back to our roots and focus on reducing mistakes, simplifying our policies, and restoring free expression on our platforms. More specifically, here's what we're going to do. First, we're going to get rid of fact checkers and replace them with community notes similar to X, starting in the US.
That's kind of no different to me. If I'm going based off what these terms mean, I would prefer fact checkers because they're going to just give the facts and there's no opinion based in them. If the community notes is anything like X, it's gotten to a point now where the people that write the community notes will troll the person that they're writing them on. Even though they might necessarily be giving context to what's being said, they're like trolling them in the comments. Like I've seen one that said like, yep, here we are back again. And then they started to say whatever they were giving context to in the notes. I'm not saying it's a bad system, but I'd rather just have a fact check. Like if somebody says something that's just objectively wrong, fact check, boom. And it can be people that commit their, I don't want to say lives, but have serious investment in news and media and have sources on standby, or maybe they're a source themselves to this information. I don't know how that may be hard to do, but I don't think it's impossible. But I'd rather have the facts. The facts shouldn't be anybody's opinion. But community notes isn't even opinionated, but it also has people that's stating what they want within those. So I just hope that's not part of it.
After Trump first got elected in 2016, the legacy media wrote nonstop about how misinformation was a threat to democracy.
And I think it is. Maybe he'll get to it.
Tried in good faith to address those concerns without becoming the arbiters of truth.
It's not about being an arbiter of truth. It's about reporting objective facts and what's really happening. The internet is the internet is the wild, wild west now, and people say anything and there's no repercussion, and it does real world harm to real discourse and people's lives that can tangibly be seen and changed. Like, the internet is just way too big to just let any and everybody do and say whatever they want and nobody says anything about it. It just cannot work that way.
But the fact checkers have just been too politically biased and have destroyed more trust than they've created, especially in the US.
I don't believe that. I think this is coming from the fact that the right lies more, and then the people on the left are more inclined to correct it because they know it's not true. I'm sorry. That's the reality we have to face. The people on the right, they lie way more, and so now it's biased because the left is always correcting the right. I'm not saying the left doesn't lie. Coming to mind, first things I think about is Rittenhouse. People lied and say he killed black people. They ain't see the footage. They keep saying he just was out there to kill people, and they just don't know any of the facts. And without looking at him, they still said he was killing people because he wanted to, even though it was a clear and cut case of self-defense. Another, I forgot the man's name, but the man that had the knife to his kids and nobody knew, but the police, all you saw was him getting shot in the back in the van, but they didn't know he had a knife and there was kids in there. And everybody was like, oh, look, the police is doing too much to black people. They shot him in the back. Facts come out, he had a knife and kids were around or something, and I think he just committed a crime. I could be wrong. But those are things the left has probably lied, and to be honest, I probably could argue more so they lie about Rittenhouse. But that guy, they was just basing their emotions off what happened. But when the facts came out, I think people let that one go. The right lies about COVID, vaccines. Have we been to space? The 2020 election? Joe Rogan just makes shit up and they don't care. Tim Pool knows absolutely nothing but gets up and talks about anything and just gets proven wrong and continues to talk shit and nobody gives a fuck. Trump hops on social media and makes up shit and say there's eating cats and dogs and immigrants are flying in and they're raping everybody, and I can't, it's just so much. Elon Musk, the richest person on earth, owns this platform X, says anything on it, and nobody does or says anything, and it's his platform, and he probably has the biggest voice on it, and nobody cares. Yet y'all act like it's like, just let people say whatever they want. That's not the solution. More voices just saying things in the midst of noise doesn't reduce the noise or help us come to any real conclusion. It's just more noise, and we never get to the root of the issue.
So over the next couple of months, we're going to phase in a more comprehensive community notes system. Second, we're going to simplify our content policies and get rid of a bunch of restrictions on topics like immigration and gender that are just out of touch with mainstream discourse.
Wait, what?
Topics like immigration. We're going to simplify our content policies and get rid of a bunch of restrictions on topics like immigration and gender that are just...
Get rid of restrictions on topics like immigration and gender.
Just out of touch with mainstream discourse.
That's out of touch with mainstream discourse. Okay, they're not mainstream discourse. Let's say that. Because I agree. I think that people overblow those topics. I think they're completely overblown and they're not as serious as some people like to make them. So he says, let's lift the restrictions off of it. When this is all favoring the right because the right bastardizes those topics and they blow them up to make them issues that aren't real issues. So now we say, well, let's take that off. Now that Trump's in office, let's get rid of restricting these topics that aren't and shouldn't be that political. Immigration, yeah, more so. Gender shouldn't be that political, but it is. According to the right, is super political. Let's lift off those restrictions, and so now we can talk about that stuff more because it favors Trump and MAGA. Got it. Makes sense. Got it. Cool. Great. Grand.
What started as a movement to be more inclusive has increasingly been used to shut down opinions and shut out people with different ideas.
None of this is connecting together with what he's saying. You restricted topics to make people more inclusive, and now when you try to make more people inclusive, it shut off opinions. Like, bro, but everything is politically charged. But now you're picking the most fake politically charged conversations to let those come through the airwaves or whatever.
And it's gone too far. So I want to make sure that people can share their beliefs and experiences on our platforms. Third, we're changing how we enforce our policies to reduce the mistakes that account for the vast majority of censorship on our platforms. We used to have filters that scanned for any policy violation. Now we're going to focus those filters on tackling illegal and high severity violations. And for lower severity violations, we're going to rely on someone reporting an issue before we take action. The problem is that the filters make mistakes, and they take down a lot of content that they shouldn't.
It sounds like this is just going to be another version of X. Like, just the Wild Wild West where people could just do and say whatever they want, and that has made that platform a shit show. Like, X this isn't the best version of Twitter we've ever seen. It's just not. I don't even care if you use it the most. This is not the best version of Twitter we've seen to date. I don't even know if Facebook is at its best right now, but this ain't gonna make it.
So by dialing them back, we're going to dramatically reduce the amount of censorship on our platforms.
I do think Facebook was slightly heavy-handed with what they promoted in the algorithm. I do think they was a little heavy-handed, even with stuff that shouldn't have been.
Also going to tune our content filters to require much higher confidence before taking down content. The reality is that this is a trade-off. It means we're going to catch less bad stuff, but we'll also reduce the number of innocent people's posts and accounts.
This is funny. We're going to catch less bad stuff, but we're going to reduce the amount of people that can just say whatever the fuck they want. Yes, this is just going to be X. That's just what's going to happen.
That we accidentally take down. Fourth, we're bringing back civic content. For a while, the community asked to see less politics because it was making people stressed. So we stopped recommending these posts.
Okay.
But it feels like we're in a new era now.
I just love how earlier in this video he said things were too political, so we hit it. And now everything's political, so let's get more political. Like, yes, we want all the politics, but yes, this is only for fucking Trump. Like, this is just mind-blowing. This nigga has no spine, bro. He has no spine. It's whatever is gonna make him the most money. Like, this is one of the richest guys on earth is like, I want to do what the richest guy on earth is doing, so maybe I could one day be the richest guy on earth. This is insane, bro.
And we're starting to get feedback that people want to see this content again. So we're going to start phasing this back into Facebook, Instagram, and Threads.
I just love it. He said everything was too political, so they was making changes. He actually said things were too political, so they're going to lift the regulations on political stuff because they shouldn't be politicized. But now he said, yeah, let's actually inject the real politics back into it. Now, mind you, I don't give a fuck if politics is pushed in the algorithm. That doesn't bother me. But he's not compatible with his own ideas in this video.
While working to keep the communities friendly and positive.
How are you going to do that?
Threads.
Politics is innately going to make people less friendly. And you saying let's invite it back on.
Again. So we're going to start phasing this back into Facebook, Instagram, and Threads while working to keep the communities friendly and positive.
Good
Fifth-
luck. It's like Squid Games. It's like, yeah, we're gonna play these games where it could get a little nasty, but we ain't gonna give you no weapons, so you can't really kill each other. But here's a knife. You know, just to cut your steak. You need a knife to cut your steak, right? We're not gonna keep it. We're not gonna take it from you or anything. We're not gonna monitor you use it. We're not gonna take it when it's bedtime. But here's a knife to cut your steak. You know, it's like, what the fuck, while making it friendly and positive. That's not going to work. It's just, if you want to stop interfering with people posts and not silence people and all that shit, how can you do that while letting politics come into your platform more than it is already, when clearly you claim it's already toxic? This is ridiculous.
We're going to move our trust and safety and content moderation teams out of California, and our US-based content review is going to be based in Texas.
This is all politics. Is Facebook gonna, is their goal now to be a political platform or not? Because you started this off saying stuff was too political, and that's why you want to lift regulations off of certain topics, right? Now, everything you're doing is political. You're moving from a blue state to a red state to feel more balanced, I guess. Why don't you make it a purple state? Doesn't that make more sense? If it's that deep, since California is the most blue state there is, you're gonna go to another, probably the most red state, the biggest red state at least, and that's gonna fix it all, right? It's not about that. If it was too political on the left, why would you just go to the right and make it too political on the right when they already have a stranglehold on all the media? Because clearly that's where all your motivations is coming from. Obviously, if Donald Trump was not president, none of this would be happening. And I'm not here to tell you if it's good or bad. I think what's bad is the intent behind it. I don't know if the result will be bad, but these intentions aren't pure. This isn't about us to have a better experience on platforms, or for us to have freedom of speech, or for us to not feel censored. This is so he can get money. This is all about money for Zuckerberg. If he invites these platforms on and people start using them and pumping out this controversial shit on their platforms, and people can argue or politics on Facebook instead of just X now, that's more engagement on his website to get more ads and sponsors or whatever. And then they might not be as bad as X letting all the porn and shit fly, but nonetheless, he's doing the same shit as Elon. But it's not really getting Elon more money as far as X is getting him more money generally, but that's why Zuckerberg is cozying up to Trump, though. If he's closer to power, that's all the better.
As we work to promote free expression, I think that it will help us build trust to do this work in places where there is less concern about the bias of our teams.
It's not about bias. The right lies more. That's all it is. The right lies more. That's all it is.
Finally, we're going to work with President Trump to push back on governments around the world that are going after American companies and pushing to censor more. The US has the strongest constitutional protections for free expression in the world. Europe has an ever-increasing number of laws institutionalizing censorship and making it difficult to build anything innovative there. Latin American countries have secret courts that can order companies to quietly take things down. China has censored our apps from even working in the country. The only way that we can push back on this global trend is with the support of the US government. And that's why it's been so difficult over the past 4 years when even the US government has pushed for censorship. By going after us and other American companies, it has emboldened other governments to go even further.
That's bullshit. We're nothing like China, where you can't be on the internet after a certain time and you can't go on certain websites. American government does not do that. And Zuckerberg is fucking lying, acting like he was pressured to do stuff he wasn't, when all it was. First of all, you guys run the discourse of the fucking world and the news and everything. Y'all need the government's gonna talk to the biggest companies on earth. Why wouldn't they? And the people that don't agree, you are lying to yourself if you don't think that the richest people on earth that basically give you information on a day-to-day basis won't be having conversations with the government. That's absolutely absurd. You think you want it, but you don't. Can you imagine if these car dealerships didn't have to respond to somebody? Can you imagine buying a home? These real estate companies, they don't have to have any conversations with the government. Who do the fuck you think protects you when shit goes wrong in these instances? It's the fucking government. So stop acting like, because Facebook is this private company. Oh, it's just a private company. They shouldn't have any conversations with them. They're one of the biggest news outlets, period. X, Facebook, Instagram, all this shit. All these motherfuckers, they're going to have conversations with the government. So let's not act like it's just the end of the world because they need to talk to you about what happens on your platform. Like, everybody refers to the fucking Hunter Biden shit, and even though they was like, we just need to warn you that some of this shit might be weird, that shit might be Russian interference, because it's very much so possible. And when it wasn't, they let that shit go. They backed off as soon as it wasn't.
But now we have the opportunity to restore free expression, and I am excited to take it. It'll take time to get this right, and these are complex systems. They're never going to be perfect. There's also a lot of illegal stuff that we still need to work very hard to remove. But the bottom line is that after years of having our content moderation work focus primarily on removing content, it is time to focus on reducing mistakes, simplifying our systems, and getting back to our roots about giving people voice. I'm looking forward to this next chapter. Stay good out there, and more to come soon.
Well, there you have it. Zuckerberg just letting us all know he has no spine. He only cares about money, and we're just getting closer and closer to an oligarchy, and half the country voted for it. You saw what happened with Elon Musk. You saw him running around. You saw Trump try to take over the government and steal an election from you. You don't care though, because Trump said it. Trump can't do no wrong. It's all lawfare. It's all a witch hunt. It's all everything, even though he did all this shit and doesn't even deny half of it, just lies about it and tries to pretend like everybody else around him is wrong and he's just a victim and all. I've never seen somebody be so much of a victim while being one of the richest people on earth, while being able to run for president with no political experience whatsoever. I don't know how that's a victim. If that's being a victim, please sign me up for Victimhood 101. But nonetheless, man, let me know how you feel in the comments, whether you agree or disagree. Just make sure you do it respectfully, and we can have a conversation, and we can hop on stream and whatever, have a real conversation in real time, because people like to have a lot of lip in the comments but never want to really confront, engage with real arguments in real time. But before we get out of here, man, make sure you leave a like, comment, sub, if not one, then all three, and I'm gonna catch y'all in the next one. Peace.